I'm not. Okay? Still got a cough. Still got a cough, so I will be coughing during the stream. Bear with me. I'm taking antibiotics. Somebody just, alright, but yeah, I'm here. What's up, guys? AW here in Warder. Hope you're all doing good. Really, really good tonight on this beautiful Thursday. I'm gonna try my best tonight. Okay? Best tonight with this fucking cough. I invited blinded to this. If you want us to join, all right. I like to, like and subscribe. Do that. If you're checking out my channel for the first time and you see what you like, please subscribe. Okay, and I will pin that. Right. For new and current subscribers, if you want down below, press the join button. Join membership. Not overly expensive. Okay, not overly expensive at all. Feel free to join. Okay. Don't worry. So yeah, I don't worry. This is I'm not streaming tomorrow. If you want to know, I don't stream on Fridays. That may change very soon. Coming in June, I may stream on Fridays. Coming in June around this time. Okay, but you'll see me back on Saturday and Sunday for sure. I'll be back on Saturday and Sunday. So okay, I'm gonna invite people if they want to come on. Whatever, every right to come on. Right. I usually have the same crew. All right. Like I usually have blinded. No, I put in this channel. But yeah, welcome to my channel, guys. Um, try again. I know he's not gonna see this, but if you want, oh, I just sent it to him. Try. Sorry, buddy, friend of mine. All right, I apologize. I'll even send it to. All right. Okay, there we go. Better now. Better. So what we're gonna do here? We're gonna look at John Campea and Robert Burnett's take on Superman trailer. So to let you know, okay, to let you know, this is more on a take on Robert Burnett than a John Campbell because I know I watched a little bit, but I mostly read the comments. From reading the comments, mostly a lot of Christians towards Robert Burnett and not a lot of Christians to Campea. Campea seems like a fan of the trailer and is excited. Robert Burnett is a little. It seems a little different. Has a different take, different views, as he always does than Campea. Because you know Robert Burnett always likes to question things more than Campea does, right? So that's what we're going to take a look at. More It's probably more into Robert Burnett, but obviously we might catch some things that Campia is going to talk about that will catch my attention. Maybe your attention too. Okay. So I hope the chat start. I know I said 10:15, but I'm here now. It's my fault. Well, I started a little bit late, earlier, not late, earlier than usual, but I'm here now. And we had a fun time last night looking at both Ironheart and Superman's trailer. I think basically for about maybe I don't know 30 to 40 minutes. basically roast some people. That was actually quite fun. Okay, so obviously, obviously, nobody's in the chat right now. Okay, but just to say hello to anybody that comes and joins later on. I hope I sent an invitation to Blinded, guys. Blinded Braille has an invitation to join. Okay, because he was in the chat yesterday, and he was in the chat yesterday, right? But he wasn't on stream, as you know. So I always send an invite to Blind Braille, and there's invites to everybody else too. It's in the group chats and DMs. Okay. Actually, you know, to be honest with you guys, I really wanted to go after Grace Randolph. Go see Grace Randolph. Um, I really wanted to try to Grace Randolph, but the thing is, her stream that she did a stream on it's an hour stream, and it's shot by shot, and it's an hour, man. I don't want to do an hour. Uh, I really don't want to do an hour of this. I'll be tracking Grace Randolph. Man, if it was shorter, much shorter, yeah. I mean, whatever. Nobody in the chat so far. Okay, I'm surprised nobody's in the chat so far. I assume it's gonna go up in a bit. If somebody got a notification. So, what's up? What's up? Whoever got a notification, I'm live. All right. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Now, John Campea is not in his garage where his studio is. Yeah, sometimes he's not in his studio. I don't know what this is. Okay. I don't know why, but it's just how it is. And there's Johnny C. Johnny Campea. I know I like the trailer. It's Meyer Burnett. It's the one. There's the grassy would say drunk Bob. That's crash symbol. About the trailer. But here we go. Okay. If I want to pop by, I'll be on the lookout. All right. So I'd like to say hello as they're watching.
Have been a little bit nervous going into this trailer. Look up indeed. The new Superman trailer has arrived and it's glorious. I have been a little bit nervous.
See, glorious. I knew he was gonna like the trailer. Oh fuck, man. I said excuse me. All right. Yeah, so I am sorry. I'm sorry for the fucking call. Okay? I apologize for the call.
Going into this trailer, and I absolutely adored it.
Of course, I see. Yeah, like I said, it's not gonna be fun. We're not here to detract Superman. Again, we're here not here to detract Superman. We're not here to detract Campea because obviously he loved it.
You get great shots of a lot of the characters. There's this one super iconic shot of Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific kind of all hovering in the sky that I thought looked absolutely, that's the shot there.
Not bad at all. Look at Mr. Terrific on the right, flying. He's in the. I mean, he's kind of using technology to help him fly. Hawk Girl has the rings. Guy Gardner is a lantern, and lantern gives you being a lantern, you can fly. Obviously,
I love that. I thought that shot looked incredible. You see Superman knocking out a kaiju.
yeah, the kaiju. Um, that certain YouTuber had an issue with. It was a stupid comment.
We see him taking some shots from different characters at different points.
Here's the kaiju.
I think it's the engineer.
Mm.
We get to see going to town, Crypto being a good boy and defending the house.
Crypto defending the house. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, Rob, this is the part to me, this is the part of the trailer that I love. This is the part that I ate up and I thought said so much about James Gunn's understanding of Superman. And
Yeah, like James Gunn, we knew he understood Superman. Unlike another director who, oh my god, I don't know why. Who's ah, who is an outline for Rebel Moon 3 to 6. Yeah, I'm just saying, like Zack Snyder. I mean, if you don't know, if you're not aware, Zack Snyder has come out and says, yeah, he's plotted a story for he's plotted a story. He has a story outlined for Rebel Moon 3 to 6. 6 movies of Rebel Moon. Yeah, like that's ever gonna happen. I'll be surprised if a third movie gets happen. I'm like, why would Netflix want to do that after Rebel Moon 1 and 2 were horrible, were disasters. And why would Netflix want to greenlight a third movie? And look, and specifically, why would they want to do a 4, 5, and 6? Like, no, that's not stupid. Netflix is not stupid.
all that kind of stuff. It's during the interview with Lois, and she's talking. Apparently, the thing he did that got everybody mad that he went overseas and stopped a war between a couple of countries.
Yeah, which is understandable.
And he's taking heat and he's getting increasingly frustrated until it finally ends with, we saved lives. People were going to die.
Yeah. For some reason,
And
John Campea, John Campea, if you're listening to this, for some reason, there's people out there that think Superman is not allowed to get frustrated. That Superman is not allowed to yell or be frustrated, right? There's some people who think that Superman should always be calm and collected. He's not allowed to get frustrated. He's not allowed to be angry. He's not allowed to yell. There's some people out there who think Superman has to be 100% perfect and he could do no fucking wrong. I know, like John Campea is not the one saying this. Sorry, John Campea is not saying this at all. Let you know, John Campea is not one of those people. He's not one of those people. Okay, he's not one of those people. He loved Man of Steel, but he's. But I think he loves Superman overall. Overall, not just not the. Okay.
And to me, here's the brilliance of that shot right there.
Yeah, that's a great shot right there. Him showing frustration in front of Lois. Oh, they know they have a relationship. They have a relationship here, and they're either a couple at this point time or they're friends, and they know each other. And this is just more of like Lois. This is like this is more of like Lois. Do you trust me? Do you believe in me? Do you right? And Lois is like, this is not my interview. This is yours. Like
That shot in the frame right there. The
it's like Lois, you know me.
brilliance of that is it completely highlights Superman's worldview
Yeah,
and his absolute confusion about everybody else's inability to get it. See, to Superman, it's just you do the right thing. We're supposed to do the right thing. When did it become complicated to do what's right?
he's right. Like he's right. The problem with Superman is when you're supposed to do the right thing, it's not always the right thing, right? I think Superman lives in a black and white world at times, and Batman calls him out on the shit all the time with with Superman's na- naive outlook, right? Outlook. Superman has saved people, yeah, but obviously you want to save people. You don't want anybody dying on both sides, but it doesn't necessarily means peace between those two countries to come together. Okay, right? Like, okay, he might save people, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be peace between those two countries because depending on the two countries at war, what's the reason two countries are at war? One's invading the other, whatever the reason is. But two countries could think they're in the right, and and they're not doing wrong, and Superman saves lives, but the war still continues. Still continues because those two countries, either one doesn't surrender or they stop the war, and they don't get to a peace agreement. The only time where like truly there's peace is perhaps a truce, a peace agreement, right? Like Superman is a hero, but he's not a diplomat. He's not a politician. And you could say in the DC world, Marvel world, there is obviously corruption in politics, but a hero cannot. Superman cannot broker peace. He can save lives, but he cannot broker peace with two countries or two territories, whatever. They have to do it on their own. You might have saved lives that day, but the war still continues. How are you going to make sure lives don't get lost permanently? That's what I'm saying. You can save as much lives this day, this tomorrow, but how are you going to make sure? How are you going to make sure? How are you going to make sure lives nobody loses lives permanently in the war in this war? Okay, and Superman has to think like that. All right, logically in that way. Right? He doesn't think like that. He only thinks about saving lives. He's right. I mean, I commend him for that. But sometimes when two countries are going to war with each other, you have to put. I mean, right? Right? Like how? Superman's a hero. He's not a diplomat or whatever. That's Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman's like that. Whatever. But I do like I do see Superman's point, but I also see that saving those lives doesn't necessarily mean he ends the war. as a war could go on. Hey, RJ, right? That day, he saved lives that day in this war. But if the war's still going on, lives are gonna keep happening. How you gonna make sure nobody loses lives in that war again? You can't do that through Superman. Cannot do that through saving lives every single day because the only way you can do that is through well dialogue. It's not like It's not like Batman, where Batman just stops actual criminals like the mafia, the mob, psychopaths. They are psychopaths, serial killers, right? It's different. You could stop them, put them in jail, guilty right away, right? Arkham Asylum for some of them. And that's what I like about DC and Marvel, right? It's not black and white, right? To me, it's, and this is where Batman kind of not tones. Batman kind of makes sure Superman sees he respects Superman vision of hope and all that, but Batman is more of a realist than Superman. And don't get me wrong, Batman would love to see peace, obviously, between two countries, whatever. And maybe in this movie, wherever those two countries are at war, maybe they eventually do broker the war ends and do broker a peace deal. Maybe that does happen. Okay, like if you know the Justice League, if you know the DCU, the DCEU, Justice League, and all that, well, Snyder kind of implied that at one point the Atlanteans and the Amazonians were allied together to face off Darkseid, right? They throw Darkseid off, make sure he doesn't get the mother box, and Darkseid had to retreat. Well, it's also implied that they were at war with each other. But they brokered peace. They did peace. They brokered a peace deal with each other, became allies. It happens. It happens in the real world too, right? Japan, Japan was a major ally to Nazi Germany. They're allies they're allies now, right? They're our friends. Germany's become our friends after what's happened in Nazi Germany. Italy's become like that. It can happen.
People were going to die, and in that moment, like, so I'm sure there's going to be some people looking at Superman getting frustrated, and they're saying, oh, James Gunn is treating him like he's some kind of child. No.
What kind of child? No, yeah. I mean, no. There's certain people that hate this movie no matter what. And there's some people treating St. James Gunn treating him like a child. For example, him having a sense of humor, a sense of humor. That he actually makes crips. He actually makes crips in this trailer. You know, like, hey buddy, eyes up here. Yeah, Superman has a bit of a sense of humor. Superman's always had a sense of humor. Always, always. He always had a bit of a funny side to him. Always. Okay. What are we? What are heroes not supposed to be? Heroes not supposed to be funny, right? Are heroes supposed to be one dimensional? If heroes are one dimensional, there's no fucking story with these characters. Okay.
This is Superman with his total foundational rock worldview of we are supposed to do what's right.
Yeah.
And him being absolutely confounded by this idea that, oh, you going over there and stopping people from dying, that was wrong. And he's frustrated by that. And I love
He's. I mean, he has a good heart and good intentions. It's just the problem is in a war, when a war goes on, a country surrenders, or two countries they do a ceasefire and they get to they deal with each other. Things change. He can't. Superman cannot do that. Superman cannot force two countries, two countries to agree to peace because that would make Superman a fascist. That would be injustice, Superman, right? That would make Superman a fascist. And we don't want Superman to be a fascist. At least I don't want Superman to be the fascist, right? Superman forcing two countries to stop killing each other and make peace. That's a fascist mentality, okay? Forcing each other because he no, that's what injustice Superman has done at times, right? I don't like.
Of it. That was the moment to me. Like you can show Superman flying through the sky, and that's awesome. You can show Superman knocking out a kaiju, and that's awesome. I also love that one little line, "Hey, buddy, eyes on me." And like that's awesome.
Funny, see that's what makes Superman. Right?
Awesome. But the moment in this trailer for me, Rob, that I went, Kal-El's back, is that moment when he's like people were going to die, like understanding his mindset, how he interacts with the world that he's in.
The thing is, Superman thinks he can save everyone, right?
I thought this was great. I cannot wait to see this. It's already my number one most anticipated movie of the year. This thing just elevated it higher for me. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see the trailer. What did you think of it?
Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video.
What did you think of it?
You see Rob's reaction there? There's Rob's reaction. You see his face? And I know it goes right to the advertisement right after, but you see his face right there? Right there tells you something. Right there tells you, yeah, I don't think you like the trailer. Right there, that tells you. That tells you didn't like it. That's definition. That's really that face says it all. That face definitely says it all. He did not like the trailer at all. Okay? That shows you did not like the trailer.
Guys, we want to take a second and most fun picks like times for more day. If your taco to your first
liked everything that I saw. Yeah, and I'll tell you
after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
I had a little different opinion.
See? A little different opinion. See? See? He hated the trailer.
About
Really?
this. Now, yeah, and I'll tell you why. I liked everything that I saw in terms of the imagery, the fantastical nature of it all. But what I was missing from this trailer is I still don't have a sense, and I went back and watched all the Man of Steel and Superman Returns trailers. The only interaction that we get between characters is that Lois and Superman scene in the beginning. And
He should want to see interaction with every character in the trailer.
while I think the sentiment was there, I didn't like seeing Superman's frustration with Lois.
Let me see what he says.
To me, it was like somewhat out of character. He would have said the exact same thing, but in a different, more calm way, because he agreed to this interview, and I
Okay. 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 Yes. He agreed to this interview. Okay? But sometimes the questions, it's not like he told Lois what questions to ask him. Okay? It's not like he told Lois what questions to ask him. Okay? Not at all. Okay? Okay? Lois Lois is not the type to take questions so that the person she's interviewing knows exactly what the questions are. Lois not like that. Lois wants the truth and the authentic truth. Okay? And Lois will ask Clark, Superman, a hard hitting questions. And if it frustrates him, it frustrates him. Okay? It's all part of being human. Superman is not a fucking robot. Okay? Not a fucking robot where they don't have emotions and feelings. Superman is a living being, has a heart, has a brain, has blood, has emotions, has feelings. Yeah, he may be an alien from a different planet, but he still has the same kind of functions. It still functions like a normal human being would have, right? It looks like a normal human being. So this idea that Superman shouldn't get frustrated or is out of character. I've seen Superman be not be calm at times. So what's wrong with him being frustrated? Okay, frustrated. You think, okay, he agreed to this interview. Yeah, but it's not like he told Lois what questions to give him. Her. It's not like he told what Lois to. He's not like he told Lois what questions to give her to give to him for him to answer. Okay. And I get a prop to John Campea where he does kind of go nah, kind of disagreeing with him there, kind of out of character. Because a lot of this is BS. What he's saying is all the other people I'm hearing say. Like a lot of that's BS. You never see Superman frustrated before. I have. I have. When he gets angry. Maybe you need to read or watch more things with Superman in it. Okay? Okay? Because Superman does get frustrated and angry. Okay? Okay? It's not like he's a robot.
I thought that was out of character
So he
for
agreed to the
Superman.
interview while they were out at their apartment and like, all right, let's just do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. But he would have been more. He lost control. He lost his composure with
Yeah.
her, which I
So, why is he not allowed?
thought was, and that's how they opened the trailer. But what I was missing was, how in all these trailers now they keep showing the same imagery from the same scene, so they don't have to show us very much of the movie itself. But there was no, in all of the other Superman trailers, when they lead with the major trailer, you hear underneath dialogue from other characters. And the only person who said anything was, you heard from Superman's father, which was, I loved hearing that. You heard the charming thing about Ma Kent with his boots, which I liked. But that was something to be expected. I wanted to know more about what we're gonna get in terms of what is the.
Are you forgetting? Are you forgetting? Are you forgetting Robert Burnett? We heard from Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor. We heard from Lex Luthor too. Are you forgetting that very important character, a very important piece of dialogue in the trailer from Lex Luthor? Because I heard Lex Luthor talk, and I'm pretty sure the people that watched my streams, I know most of the people that watched the streams saw the trailer. Obviously, watched my video, saw the trailer. I'm pretty confident they saw and heard Lex Luthor talk in the trailer. Yeah, so you got Lois talking, Mom and Pop Cat talking, right? Superman talking, but you forget to mention Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor was talking too. you deaf? My God, this guy. Seriously, I'm pretty sure Lex Luthor was talking. I could be wrong. I could have been hearing things. Maybe it wasn't Lex Luthor. Maybe it was somebody else. But I'm pretty sure Lex Luthor was talking. I apologize if he wasn't, but I thought he was. Okay, I might be crazy. Okay. Oh my God, where's Degrassi? Degrassi, where are you, buddy? I know you want to see this, man. Be honest, man. I wish you heard Degrassi. Where's Sideways in Red? Because guys, I don't know, because I heard Lex Luthor talk in the trailer. Or maybe it's just maybe my mind's playing tricks on me. And I think Meyer Burnett is actually gonna like this movie. I do think he will like this movie. So when he sees it, I do think he'll like this movie. Honestly, despite him criticizing and not really liking the trailer, I do think he'll like the movie.
The interaction here, what's happening here? Because we the imagery is great, and I love. By the way, I also love the way the movie's shot. I do love the color scheme. I do think how it looks is going to be spectacular on screen. So I loved all that, but I was a little underwhelmed by. I wanted to feel more from it. I wanted it to be more mythic, and I think this trailer
Maybe I missed it.
specifically didn't do, because Superman Returns and Man of Steel had very similar trailers. This was very different, and I think that's why they opened with the interview. I just wanted a little bit more of a sense
You work on Superman Returns, buddy. Come on.
of the kind of movie that we're going to get. And that's what
It's pretty clear what kind of movie we're gonna get.
I was missing. Everything else I liked, but I felt this was a little ordinary, if that's the right word.
Oh God, I can't disagree with you more.
I know.
Like I mean, they all hit us in different ways, but like for me, like I know exactly, like, you know me, I often get frustrated with trailers.
I mean, I'm Team John Campea here, guys. I'm Team John Campea here. Okay? For this stream, for this review, for this detracting video, I'm Team John Campea. Okay? Go John Campea. I'm Team Campea. I'm Team John Campea. Man, go Campea. I hope they get a fight. I hope they fight. No, they're not gonna fight.
If they don't give us any sense of what the movie's about. But to me, this trailer did give us that. This is a Superman who is struggling to figure out his place in this world, and
Exactly.
the world struggling to figure out what is Superman's role. And there's clearly conflict there about what Superman.
Sure,
should
but
be
I
able
wanted
to
to
do.
hear from, like, they
when
show
she-
what, Frank Grillo, and give us a little pushback. What does the government think of what Superman?
Why do you want everything to be revealed in a fucking trailer? Dude, why? That's what the movie is for. What do you think about? I mean, you work in the fucking industry. Like, don't you want to be surprised? Don't you want to be going in this film not at times not knowing the whole fucking plot? Okay. One of the biggest criticisms people have about some movies trailers is that they feel like a trailer reveals the whole plot. Can we just go into this movie, with little information about the plot? Because maybe, yeah, we get a synopsis, but maybe we want to know what the what the larger synopsis plot is in the movie. Not everything be revealed or shown in the trailer. Maybe they want to surprise us a bit, shock us a bit. All right. Like, what do we need? Why do we need everything in the trailer? Why do we? Okay, why do we need Frank Grillo's character to be? What else do we need Frank Grillo's character to be mentioned in the Superman? He has a bigger role with Peacemaker. Okay. Why do you want everything revealed all at once? Like, if you want the whole fucking plot, why do you want to see the movie then? Don't bother seeing the movie. If you want the whole plot revealed in the trailer, why see the movie?
Man did. Have
Well,
somebody
we
tell
did
us.
get that from Lois.
What's up, Degrassi? Oh, I'm just detracting Meyer Burnett. He didn't like the trailer. He liked it visually, that, but he didn't like what the trailer was. He didn't like the trailer was trying to get across. Like, he's like, Superman should not get frustrated, not yell. And I'm like, have you seen other adaptations of Superman? Superman has yelled and get frustrated before, and gets pissed off and gets mad. I mean, he claims to read the comic books and watch some of the Superman stuff, right? But he does, but he forgets, and he forgets other things that Superman has never got pissed off or yelled before, or has lost composure. Superman has, like, what the hell? Why? I just hate the idea. Like, why? Superman is not allowed to get pissed off, frustrated? Oh, because he agreed to the interview? Yeah, like he's gonna make Lois Lane ask questions that he wrote down for her. You know what I think why he's frustrated at Lois Lane? You know what I think? You know what he's frustrated at Lois Lane? You know what he kind of lashed out at Lois Lane? Because they're seeing each other. And seeing each other. When you're seeing somebody you care about, your spouse, give you and tough questions like that, and it makes you think, like, do you really believe in me? Do you really believe in me? Like, makes you think, is this relationship gonna work between us? If you ask questions like that, if you don't really have faith in me, you don't believe in me, like, seriously, I think if you're being interviewed by somebody that you care about and you're actually dating, and you ask questions like that, even knowing that Lois does believe in Superman, but she has to ask those questions, it makes you think. It makes you think. It makes you think. Like, makes you think. You really believe in me, right? Oh my God. It's like, here's the thing. When you're talking to somebody you care about, with a friend or a family member, your wife, child, and you say things, you know this person for a long time. You say things, you're saying something you think is right, or something you're doing is right, and that person you care about, you know for a long time, starts questioning that. Like, think about it. Think about it. It's uh
Lane, though. Like, we got.
and he forgot. He also claimed, why didn't have let other people talk. He says, they let Lois Lane talk, they let Superman talk, they let Maul and Paul Kent talk, and I'm like, you forgot Lex Luthor. I'm pretty sure that Lex Luthor talked in this trailer. I'm pretty sure. I don't know, guys. Like, maybe I'm just on something, watching the trailer at 12 o'clock noon, and then doing a later in the night more detailed breakdown. I might have been on something. I don't. I might have been on something, because I'm pretty sure Lex Luthor talked in the trailer. Talking in the trailer. But to let you know, Degrassi, I know, dead jerks. I know you like Campea, But Campea is actually on our side for this film, as expected. I think you expected that.
That, but they didn't have to double down on that because Lois Lane already kind of made it clear what everybody else's opinion is. You went there, a representative of the US. I'm not a representative of the US. You didn't have any authority to go there. So they already kind of gave us that position on
Yeah,
that. I
but
didn't
it's
think they needed to double
it
down
would have
on
been
it.
bigger. It would have broadened the scope if we heard from more people.
The trailer's already.
You heard from the important people of this film. Lois Lane, Superman, Mom, Pop Kent, and you heard from Lex Luthor. Four of the most important people in this film. Four of the most important people that inspire Superman, Clark Kent. Well, not Lex Luthor, but Lex Luthor is still important to Superman. You heard from the four most important people in this film, okay? In this trailer. We don't need to hear from regular fucking citizen. We don't need to fucking hear from Frank Grillo's character, okay? Okay, yeah, he's in the movie, but we don't need to hear from Frank Grillo. And they mentioned Secretary of State. And he showed Frank Grillo. That's all you needed. That's all we need to see when it comes to Frank Grillo's character, Big Flag Senior. We don't need to hear from that. Okay. We don't need to. Here's the thing. Hot take. We don't really need to hear from Jimmy Olsen. I mean, he'll be important, but we don't really need to hear from Jimmy Olsen either, or Perry White in this trailer. Maybe the next trailer, but. They got the four most important people to talk in this trailer. Lois Lane, Clark Kent, aka Superman, Lex Luthor, and his adopted parents. That's all we needed to hear, really. Okay? Like, why do we need to hear? We don't need to hear from everybody. It's a fucking trailer. You want the fucking whole plot in the trailer? Warner can use the same Batman stories to base every Batman movie on. But not Superman. Yeah, that's right. That's true. That's true. With the Batman thing, they all want to do Batman stories. They all want to take inspiration from different Batman stories, but put a twist on it and make it in their own way. But this guy wants. Like, the problem with Drunk Bob is every time a trailer comes out, he always wants the whole plot, the whole idea for a plot to be revealed. Like, why? Why spoil it? Watch the fucking movie comes out. Okay.
Already almost 3 minutes long. I don't
know.
think we needed to hear it from more.
Well, there's still going to
They
be.
gave us that
Yeah. What do we need to hear from besides those four in this trailer?
escape. What's that, Jonathan?
I think there's still going to be a third trailer.
Yeah, there will be.
And,
Oh, no,
and
yeah.
There's always a third trailer. Just a couple weeks before the film, there'll be a third trailer.
gonna
For
push
sure,
the
there's going to be a
narrative
third
further.
trailer. 100% there is.
But
But
trailer. That's always happens.
like with the whole notion too of then, so we got that whole thing is now all set up that this is a world that is not yet completely comfortable and fully understanding of what Superman's role is.
Oh, by the way, Degrassi, James Gunn has an update on Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, you hear about that? Wonder Woman. Very close to. They might be have something in the future about Wonder Woman. Update on Wonder Woman. You just can't reveal it yet about Wonder Woman, but yeah, Wonder Woman's getting close. An answer on the DCU about Wonder Woman. I really do hope is what's her name from Andor and Venom and Morbius.
And a Superman who doesn't understand completely how he's supposed to interact with the world that he's in. But then at the same time, we started to get the Lex point of view. Everybody's talking about this Superman. He's hijacking the conversation. Not anymore. We see him breaking into the Fortress of Solitude. I don't know, man. I'm the one who's usually saying you need to give me an idea about what this movie's about.
Lex part of this trailer is great because that's how I feel Lex should act. Lex Luthor has always been jealous of Superman, right? So the way his jealousy, his envy of Superman is what leads him towards madness, more madness, right? Down the madness route. He was always a greedy, selfish narcissist. billionaire, right? Criminal. But there's narcissists, greedy, criminal billionaires, or there's not billionaires that are not mad. They're not madmans. Okay? But his obsession with Superman is what drives him down to that level. Okay? And you can see it in this, you can see it and you can hear it in this trailer, right? About his obsession, his disdain, his hate, his jealousy towards Superman. Okay? See, like Superman and like Lex, like I talk about this Batman, right? And Joker. Joker has an obsession with Batman, but it's not the same thing with Lex and Superman. Joker's obsession with Batman is not about jealousy or envy. It's just about that Batman's only inspiration for things for what Joker. Batman's only inspiration for Joker to keep on going in life, in the world. He just sees the world as one big one big how can I say one big joke. But in this world there's one in this big joke world there's this one guy that he sees that is also he views that is struggling struggling to make sense of the world, and that's Batman, his obsession with him. If there was no Batman, Joker would go straight. Joker there'd be no Joker. Lex, on the other hand, the thing is, Lex hates Superman, but Lex would not need Superman. Honestly, Joker needs Batman. Lex would not need Superman, and it's because if Superman didn't exist, Lex would probably still be that narcissistic, corrupt billionaire. But since Superman does come in the picture in DC, it drives Lex to be jealous and jealousy, envy of Superman, where it drives him to madness. See, there's a different obsession with Joker and Batman and Lex and Superman. Okay, different. Let's continue this.
I came out of this trailer feeling I had a nice, basic, thematic idea about what this movie's about. Now, obviously, we
Look at this. Look at this costume with Lex. That is such a Lex. That is such a Lex kind of thing. Picture right here with him in the tie, the suit. This is bald. This is how Lex. This is what Lex looks like. This is. This Lex is what Lex should be. Okay. I don't get. I don't. This is not. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And Superman is the cream of the crop when to him of many humans, right? Yeah. Thank you. Remember, I said this yesterday. He believes he's what humans should aspire to be. Okay. But the point is, you could be human, but you can still be a monster, right? You inside. Lex believes humanity cannot achieve greatness, cannot achieve goals, um, things like that, if someone like Superman's around to inspire people instead of instead of a human. Okay, and many humans in general too. There was a Supergirl season 2 or 3. Season Supergirl 2 or 3. There was a season based on the subject, people with powers or aliens. Uh, Aliens taking away jobs from normal humans, but it's because they can do things easier with the powers, right? Like for example, if an alien is telekinesis, with their mind they can pick up a box at a warehouse, right? But where a human can't. Oh, Baby Joe and Luther's power suit. Oh, I hope that might be. What if Luther is in the thing? And if they do that, people are gonna call it woke. They're gonna call it woke. Oh my! They're gonna There's gonna be people that are gonna call it woke if they do that. With aliens are taking away our jobs because they can use or metahumans because they can use powers to achieve things. They're gonna call that woke. Taking away from humans. There's gonna be people like that. It's gonna call it woke. I mean, there's gonna be people against that if they do that. I mean, look, think about. I mean, they've been doing that in DC and Marvel for years. I mean, sorry. And it's funny. Lex Luthor, you entered. It's funny in the trailer. You entered illegally. Yeah, Superman technically entered the U.S. illegally, the world illegally in the first place. So okay, if Superman entered that country illegally, he illegally entered. He entered the world. So who technically gets to arrest them then if he illegally entered the world? That's kind of funny. I make that joke all the time that Superman is an illegal alien all the time. But technically he is, but whatever.
To give me an idea about what this movie's about, I came out of this trailer feeling I had a nice, basic, thematic.
And apparently people on conservative sides don't like the trailer. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is the Hammer Lex Luthor? That's what I'm thinking. Or is there a clone of Lex Luthor or something like that? Because whoever is under the hammer, it can't just be like a made up character for like a made up character for the movie, right? Right? It has to be somebody from the comics, right? It can't be just like who is. It can't be when it's revealed like who is this guy. People fans will be like, who is this guy? I never heard of him before. It has to be somebody that fans heard of, at least comic book fans heard of. You just can't come up with like a Darcy Lewis. And what I mean by Darcy Lewis is a character that Marvel came up with for Thor, and then they incorporated her into the comics later on. You can't just do it like that. You can't just go a Darcy Lewis with Hammer. It has to be somebody under there that people know. That's what I think. Yeah, I'm gonna use that word for now. Darcy Lewis. That's gonna be my new term for certain things. Darcy Lewis. Okay, Darcy Lewis. Oh, but when I get those Funkos coming in next month, don't worry, there'll be a video on it.
Idea about what this movie's about. Now,
looks good, huh? Looks good. Metamorpho looks good here, huh?
obviously, we are going to get more details as we get into trailer 3, but
Superman's gonna free him, huh? He is a made-up character for the movie, but his secret, yeah.
I'll tell you what.
The guy under, right? I don't think the guy under is whoever it is.
You and I see that scene in that interview night and day differently. To me, that's with his chat with Lois, him getting increasingly frustrated about the fact that, like, why is it so hard to just everybody agree we should do the right thing, and getting frustrated? That's the moment that sold me. Like,
Luther's a dick. I mean, of course Luther's a dick. I mean, Degrassi, are you surprised? There's no limit that Lex Luthor would not. There's no limit that Lex Luthor would not go to, man. Right? There's no limit on Lex Luthor, just to make kill Superman. Right? He'll go whatever it has to do to kill Superman. There's no limit. There's no. It's just gone too far. There's no mind. He doesn't have that mindset saying this might be going too far. He doesn't have that. That's Lex Luthor, right? That's Lex Luthor in a nutshell. He doesn't think like that. Lex Luthor has no conscience. So, you call him a dick, he's a dick 24/7. Yeah, he looks like a sad clown, huh?
Completely on it, but you saw it differently.
And I felt, I lean towards John.
Is this the guy who called the Hood Red Hood? I think this guy called the Hood in the Ironheart video yesterday. Red Hood, Red Hood, the Hood and Red Hood.
On this. And I felt like the reason why he did get frustrated because he's saying, my God, even you, Lois,
Yeah,
who,
thank you, Jonathan.
who
Jonathan,
we have a thing and you're
Jonathan. You know, we make fun of him sometimes because of his red face, but those words right there, even you, Lois, it's the best thing. The best thing to come out of this video, because he's right. You're right. Lois, they're in a relationship. Lois knows Superman's Clark Kent, and it makes you think if it makes you think with that interview, Lois. It makes you think with that interview, with Lois, right? Right with Lois, you don't believe me, you don't trust me. Like Jonathan, I gotta give this guy credit. I mean, he still has a red face, but he's right. He's right. Like I know. Here's an idea. I mean, in real life, do not do an interview with your significant other because it will mostly be fake. But Lois is not like that. I'll say that. Lois is brutally honest.
course you're not seeing through the
Yeah.
the cynical like way of life. Like, what is this? You know.
I know, but that's why I think that he would be able to. I don't know. It just struck me as
Guy, Robert Bradford doesn't understand. I actually think he'll like the movie. I think he'll like the movie.
and that's how they.
Oh, by the way, I heard Matt Jarbo. Um, heard Matt Jarbo did a live stream last night of Superman for 6 hours and a half. Yeah, exactly, Degrassi. But yeah, Jarbo apparently did another Superman live stream, talking about Superman, the Superman trailer. And he talked for about 6.5 hours. Yeah, so like even if they've been together and officially a couple, I assume their relationship has been around, been known for. I assume their relationship been around for a while. I don't know. I don't know. The liquor cabinet.
think
Start the
Superman
trailer.
should. You think Superman should just be this cold, like
No,
a
but
stoic
I think that they should.
kind of.
That's a moment to build up to his frustration. And if you saw like
What to build up to, man? It's a fucking trailer. Relax. Patience.
I thought
we've
they would
seen
be
so much of this world.
something
I
in the
mean,
trailer.
it was all Mr. Terrific, it was all Hawkgirl, it was all these other characters, and I would like to know more about if this world is filled with superheroes, why is it that only Superman's being held accountable?
Because it's a Superman movie. What do you think the title is called? Superman. Not Superman and Hot Girl and Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific and Green Lantern. It's the title's called Superman. Why? Like, the focus point on Superman, the character of Superman. And those other characters might play an important role, but the movie is called Superman. Jesus Christ. Degrassi, is this kind of thinking makes me feel like I could work in the Hollywood industry, man. Industry. It doesn't take a rocket science to know a rocket genius, a rocket scientist to know that. I mean, if this is the kind of thinking you need to work in Hollywood, I'm gonna go to Hollywood, guys. Working in the movie industry. The title's called Superman, not Superman Friends. Not Superman in the Justice League. It's called Superman. The focus character. That's true too. Okay. It's, okay. You'll know more about them in the movie. My God. Okay. Like seriously.
Because
You know,
they're all sanctioned like government workers.
are they?
I think so.
I mean, I don't know.
He's a bad superhero. That's what he wants. That's what he. I mean, like, that's not. I don't know if that's what he wants. It's Meyer Burnett doesn't want. It's kind of he wants kind of like the Snyderverse kind of Superman.
I think they're all under that Mr. What's his name? Mr. What? Terrific? Mr.
Yeah, the
No,
Maxwell
but
Lord.
no,
the
but
Maxwell
there's
Lord.
a
Justice
name.
League.
There's
I
a
think
name of
it's
the
all like
company they're all
corporate.
working with.
I
Sure.
think we find
Yeah, they're all working with Master Lord because you saw it in the fucking Peacemaker trailer. But we did not see Mr. Terrific and Peacemaker.
ourselves in a world where it's like corporate overlords, government overlords.
Because they're all in matching costume. They're all in matching uniforms, right? But like,
Like how Guy and Kendra were acting in Peacemaker season 2 trailer. Yeah, I mean they're recruiting Peacemaker, right? They're looking at recruiting Peacemaker. Okay, like or at least taking interviews with Peacemaker, knowing they were not going. They knew they were not going to have Peacemaker join the group. Join them.
but why? Because Superman is Superman. Like that's I think that's part of the thing is that Superman is Superman. And whereas you look at Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific, they're all wearing matching
Sure,
team
but
outfits.
the
right?
thing is that I just look. I'm still. It hasn't changed my excitement for the movie. I just thought the trailer was interesting, especially if you compare it and contrast it. This Superman is not mythic. This Superman
I disagree.
Is an
I disagree.
everyman Superman. And that's the thing. You know, he's much more he's been much more humanized in this
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I do not see the problem is people want to see superheroes as Marvel. Marvel has to make every character not mythic, right? Not like a godlike, right? They've done that. Here, I know Superman. Sometimes they made Superman like that, but Superman, like, right? Superman. The thing is, Superman doesn't perceive himself like a god or like a mythic character. People that people that it's the people who say that. The people, the citizens of the world, and stuff like that. Superman doesn't see himself like that. In fact, right? He doesn't see himself like that. Superman, Clark Kent sees himself as just kind of like a human, an everyday human, even though he's not. He just wants to have like while he's not Superman, he likes to do normal human stuff. Clark Kent likes to go to a restaurant, a date with Lois, likes to go back to a farm, maybe likes to do some farm stuff, maybe go to a sports game. He doesn't see the people see himself as a god, but he doesn't see himself as a god. He just seems as somebody who has special powers that can do a lot of good for the world. And because, yeah, he's essentially because he knows if he sees himself like that, he's no better than Lex Luthor. People that see themselves as a god or or have that attitude and arrogance of a god and always use that. Yeah, I'm a god. I can do this, do this, do that. I can do this. I can get away with that. Those are usually the villains. Those usually end up becoming the bad guys. Okay, like Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor. He may be Lex Luthor and the Public Enemies or the whatever. says they see him as a god. They see him as a god. Lex Luthor wants to be seen as a god, okay? Lex Luthor wants to be seen as a god. Okay? Lex Luthor wants to be seen as a god. Okay? It's not him who sees him as a mystical figure or stuff like that. It's the people around him. I mean, Batman doesn't see him as a mystical figure. The regular people do. Wonder Woman doesn't seem like that. Batman knows Superman is like he just wants to be a regular person, even despite knowing he has godlike powers. When the relationship grows, uh, well, Batman doesn't give a damn.
Trailer. And that's the same thing. The trailer ends with "You have a dog." You know, I mean, this is very much the idea is to bring Superman down to earth, and that's okay.
I just think, but you know, you and I both adore Man of.
Because here's the thing, humans, comic book characters were meant to relate. Here's the thing. Over the years, comic book characters are meant to relate to people in real life. All right? Okay? So they want to make Superman relatable to us. Okay? That's the idea. Okay? Yes, Superman can do all this stuff. Flash can do all that stuff. Aquaman can do all that stuff. But they all have problems and issues. They want to make them relatable to what real people in real life are it's like. That's it. Like, otherwise, what's the point? What's the point? You can't have heroes could not be inspiring if they're perfect. Okay? If they're perfect. And I can arguably say claiming to be a god, you're not perfect, but heroes cannot be inspiring to people like us, whether it's from a video game, a book, a movie, a TV show, if they're considered perfect in every way possible. They can't be considered inspiring. Heroes have to make mistakes. They have to go through ups and downs to be inspiring. What makes them inspiring is them overcoming. You still got bills to pay, exactly. It's them overcoming things. Okay? And that's to show that if they can overcome this, you in real life can overcome whatever you need to overcome. Become strong. That's what's the point of a protagonist, a hero. Okay? You can't. A perfect character cannot be inspiring. Sorry. Like, it's impossible.
Of Steel. Man of Steel did the same thing. Like the whole thing about.
But the trailers didn't. The trailer, I watched all the trailers for Superman, and the trailers were incredibly mythic. They're very, very mythic. The music.
We never saw Superman knock out a kaiju in the Man.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Zack Snyder doesn't understand DC. He tried to make the Justice League like a mythic creatures. Like Batman. He doesn't understand Batman. He may try to make Batman like a mythic creature. A god like in Justice League and BVS. No, he doesn't understand that. No, he doesn't understand that. Okay.
Man of Steel. Like, how much more
no, we
mythic
didn't,
do you
because
want to
there
get?
weren't kaiju in that universe. But yeah.
But I'm just saying, we literally saw Superman fly up with a right uppercut and knock out a kaiju. What more do you want for mythic? I don't get it. Like, what more? What more do we need? But to Jonathan's point though, Rob, I mean, this is the second trailer. We're still going to get a third.
Yeah.
Again, for me, I just love, because one of the things that I love so much about Man of Steel, and you know this about me, right, is and because I Man of Steel to
Student loans plus rent ain't cheap in Metropolis. All that rapid random destruction day. Yeah, yeah. If he was a god, none of that stuff would happen, right? Right? You know, you have to still pay for food, hydro, utilities, car. You have to pay all that. You know,
me is the most underrated comic book film of all time.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love so much about that movie is that it really, and also, Superman Returns. This is the part of Superman Returns that I liked. When you have a character that is so godlike, like Superman, it's always a
and
struggle.
the funny thing is, there's actually more characters out there. I know why he sees a god like, but there's actually more characters out there in DC and Marvel that are actually more powerful than Superman.
To find what it is he struggles with. And like to me, his
You know what he struggles with? You know what Superman struggles with? Being human. Being human. Okay? That's what he struggles with. Being human.
ultimate struggle is struggling to understand his own place in the world and for the world to understand his place in it. And that's one of the reasons I loved Man of Steel so much, because it really addressed that question. It was constantly like Kal-El Clark wandering the world, really trying to figure out his own identity.
Yeah, and that
trying
was
to figure out
beautifully
where to
handled.
fit in the world. Yeah, it was so well handled. And I love the fact that
He stole that from Batman. That's from Batman.
without copying that, they're bringing that theme over as well. Of this is still a Superman who's been around for a bit, but he still doesn't completely know how to function within this world to make the world happy, but still wanting to go by his own moral North Star that I have to do what's right.
Sure.
And getting frustrated, people don't see it that way. Like, it's so clear cut to him, right? A war was about to start and people were going to die. And I stopped it. And people are angry at that. And I can't wait for that scene. I for one am really, really, really excited about that scene.
I want to see the rest of that interview.
I that's probably going to be like an 8-minute long scene. I think
Fucking cough. All right, that's my stream for today. This cough is getting to me. Oh, fuck, man. Yeah, Barbara didn't like it. I'll be back Thursday. Not Thursday. Today is Thursday. I'll be back Saturday. I'm sorry. Hoping my cough is better by then. I don't even think I have a cold. I don't think I have a cold this time. I think it's just like I feel the saliva in my mouth though, the mucus. Yeah, but I'll definitely be. I hope to be back Saturday. I don't know what I'll talk about Saturday though. I'll find something. But yeah, sorry guys. I mean, like, yeah. Try hour and 20 minutes is good. Remember to like, share, subscribe down below.